Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second virtual class for Empowered Strides. And so let's jump right in. I would like to think about, the two in-person classes we've had and the one virtual last week and now this week. So we're going to kind of bring everything along for the ride that we've learned so far. So who wants to talk about who has something to say just about what you've noticed already is changing or improving or becoming a little different about you and your self-confidence? Can anybody speak to that? Even for those of you who weren't present for the last two in-person classes, with the material Christine has given you, watching the videos, reading some of the material, is there anything that has struck you that has started to change your confidence already?
I would say that something that has been changing my confidence, and mostly by working with you. I wasn't here for the last two things, but mostly with working with you is like like how I'm speaking and how I'm carrying myself and things like that, and how I'm like with my voice, mostly with my voice. And you see now, like I'm talking and I'm using my hands more, and instead of just being like, okay, hi, my name, like I'm doing more things with my hands and more movements so you can pay attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Ayana, I know nobody else can appreciate this, but you and I go back such a long way. And when I see you and hear you now, it just confirms for me that all the reasons that I did what I was doing paid off. You are so eloquent and well put together and just so impressive. And if I had anything to do with that, anything, I'm very proud and happy. Yeah, thank you for that. Who else? We cannot have an hour of me talking. As wonderful as I am, we can't do that. So let's hear from y'all. What have you learned from the last 2 weeks? Oh, I will let you sit in this. I'm not going to rescue you.
Um, good evening, Mark. So, in the last 2 weeks, especially last week, uh, I learned a lot about having confidence and our posture, how we should stand, sit, walk, enter a room, climb the stairs. Uh, I learned how to walk on the runway, which taught me about having self-esteem. Like for those that were around last week, I wasn't really sure I could walk, without fumbling. But at first it was somehow. Then the second and third try was better. So um I'm coming out um a little bit.
Yeah, it was quite incredible to see the difference in you from the first time you walked to like the third time I think that you walked. It was like a visible difference in how you carried yourself.
Yeah.
And have you now got a sense, David, that when you carry yourself better and when you focus on your posture, people may treat you differently?
Yes, I have.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
So uh going like you gave us an assignment that we should work um eloquently, and that if that we should at least greet three strangers on the way, we should look them in the eye. So on my way to the library, I think day before yesterday. Yes, and yesterday, I've greeted up to like five or six, which on a normal day, I'll bow my head and just pass. So it taught me that I can do things if I believe I can do them. As you said, 93% of what people see in us are non-verbal and 7% verbal. And as you said, they are strangers, so they don't know me at all. So I have to, come out and express myself.
Yes. You said so much in what you said, David. First of all, congrats for doing that, for exceeding the homework and talking to like five strangers. And that is such a key message that I want young people to take away these days. And it becomes even more important for immigrants or children of immigrants, because, some people may not tell you this, but you don't have the same starting position as I have, because I look like everybody else. I was born and raised here. I understand how things work. I already started with knowing a lot of people. So even if I don't know the person that I'm encountering, I bet you I know someone that they know. That all makes things way more easy for me than it does for you. So it's really important that you all lift your head up and make eye contact with strangers and be the first to say hi and put a smile on. Because especially in the environment that we're in right now, with so much fear, like look at all the scams that are going on. Like, let's just talk about that for a moment. So the climate for trust right now, no matter who you are, is low. People are very guarded. There's a lot of scams going on. People are just trying to sort of hold on to what they got. So it really is incumbent on each of us to be the one to make the effort to get to know somebody, or to be mannerly and nice when you meet somebody and make that eye contact and have that smiling face. Because if you don't, they're not going to. And sometimes you never know who you're going to meet. If you can open yourself up to do what David did, which is lift your head up, smile, and say hi to the person that you're meeting. In etiquette, there's a general rule that, let's just say you're walking down the street, or let's say you're walking in that headway there that you were talking about, David, that leads to the library, in Market Square. If you're within 5 feet of somebody coming in your direction, you should acknowledge them with a smile. If you're within 3 feet of somebody, you should smile and say hello. That's like a general etiquette rule. And I think that's a good kind of thing to keep in mind, that if someone is that close, acknowledge them with a smile. If they're very close, smile and say hello. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the posture? What can somebody say? I mean, I could talk to you all day, David. You're a wonderful conversationalist. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that. I'm not telling you that. You're very bright. You're very insightful, and you're a great conversationalist. So I could talk to you all day, but I'm going to ask for someone else to step up.
MK has her response in the chat.
Oh, what do we got in the chat?
Yeah. So again, if you don't want to speak, feel free to use the chat box.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, who else has, what did David say that kind of jogged your memory, or what was your experience yourself that you had with the homework? What have you taken away from the whole of the last 2 weeks? You know, what do you think about the posture and the sitting and the walking?
I think that the way I've changed the way I enter a room now. I no more longer enter the room like from them seeing my back. I enter the room, face, make eye contact, say hello, greet them with a smile, and I close the door without like showing them my back. So like that's the stuff that has changed for me from the past 2 weeks. Even the and also the way I like speak out in public. I'm no longer like shy to like voice out my own opinions. Sometimes, not like all the time, but sometimes I say out my own opinions. It has
Is this Chinemerem speaking?
yes, Chinemerem.
Yeah, I recognize your voice. That's good. You know, you're a very bright girl, and I know you have big goals in your future. And so the one thing I want to see from you over this 8 weeks is I want to see you be able to own the space you're in and speak up and say what you mean and not be double guessing it, not wondering if it's okay. I want you to be able to be confident about what you're saying. But you're right. We don't need to comment on everything. You know, we don't have to have an opinion on everything. But when something means something to you, when you think that there is something that needs to be said, and maybe you're the one to say it, I want you to stand up and own it and say it with confidence.
Yeah.
That's what I want for you.
Okay.
Imagine the difference you can have in this world if you were confident enough to speak your mind. That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. Who else can talk about what the last 2 weeks already have done for you?
Would you like me to read MK's contributions in the chat box?
Yes.
Okay. So she says 93% first impressions are non-verbal, and that's so important to be considered for things to go your way. And then she says work on non-verbal etiquettes for the boost of confidence. And then she posted another one. She says, love to work on posture. Yesterday morning, I went in and I was sitting on my chair the way we learned on Sunday. My boss usually comes and checking on all of us, and she was impressed by saying, you look very polite and attentive this morning. And that made my day.
See, people notice.
Yeah.
Yes. When you're sitting up straight using good posture, people are like, what? People notice. Yes. Attentive.
Yeah.
Wouldn't every employer like to think that their employees are attentive
And polite.
and polite? That's a great first impression. Chinemerem or Chidima has their hand up.
So yeah, so I think that the last 2 weeks has helped me improve with my posture and like how I present myself. Like it makes me more like conscious and like how I stand, and like I think I have like improved a lot.
Good. Now, who else did their homework of smiling and saying hi to 3 strangers? I want to hear about that.
Well, for me, they were really strangers because this week I was meant to like go volunteer at my church, a program in my church. So we are going to meet like other new people, but also like my church members were still there. So when I went there Tuesday, I met like other parents, other kids, and I said hello to them. I smiled, I had like a small talk with them without like second guessing myself whether I should go up to them and say hi and welcome them into the program. I greeted them, I said hello, how are you doing? How's your day? I smiled and everything. So yeah.
I love that. And what was the response? How did people respond to that?
Yeah, they were really happy. They enjoyed the conversation and everything, and the day just went like smoothly.
Yeah. You know, I always like to say that a smile and eye contact is very disarming. it takes down that wall for people. It helps the discomfort of meeting someone new to kind of just fade away. Like you can do so much by being the one that makes eye contact and smiles and says hi. Like it just disarms people.
Yeah.
And so from an etiquette standpoint, which is all about making the other person feel comfortable, smiling and eye contact and saying hi is like a really, a really effective way to make somebody feel comfortable instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you like initiate a conversation with them, they feel more interested in like the thing that you are doing for the day. Not like just wanting to go home, just wanting to be anywhere else except from there. They feel like interested in what we're doing. So yeah, that really matters.
Yeah. Some people are very nervous or anxious to participate in things. And I know, like with my daughter, Rachel, the deal breaker was instantly if somebody smiled and sort of took her under their wing. That made all the difference. But if she felt like somebody was just cold and not interested in her, she wouldn't be able to get through the day. So having that warmth about you does make a difference to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Shalamite?
Yeah, Sheila, meeting. Yeah, hello. Is it
Hi.
I wasn't available the last time because I couldn't join, but now I'm here. And you were mentioning about the homework and stuff, and I did it. So I just want to talk about it.
Yes.
And so when I was walking once, I was like just walking on the road, and then I passed someone and I said, "Have a good day." And then the person turned back and was like, "Thank you. That really made my day." And then I was really happy. So that's what I want to say.
Yeah. It's true, man. Like it's tough out there right now for all age groups, all age groups.
Yeah.
I will be 60 in a couple of weeks, and I can honestly say I've never seen a time in my whole life where everybody is suffering. And you really can make somebody's day just by being nice, because people are not as nice as they used to be.
Very true.
Yeah. So an act of kindness, just a gesture that I see you and I'm saying hello and I hope you have a nice day. I can see how that would make somebody's day. Yeah. So that's wonderful. Keep it up.
Thank you.
The other thing I want to say before I forget, because when you do start to step out of your comfort zone and do this kind of thing with strangers, you're not guaranteed a positive reciprocal response, are you?
No, not really.
No, like you might smile and say hi to somebody and they might be like, bugger off. Okay, so my message is you can't control what somebody's response is going to be, but don't let that change your desire to be the good person. Right? You're going to be tested from time to time with how people treat you, but don't let that change you and your good efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So even if it's not reciprocated, even if someone doesn't say, "Oh my gosh, you made my day, thank you," keep doing it because it's a good thing to do. It makes you feel good, and you can never go wrong doing the right thing.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Keep it up.
All right, so we go to Ayana next. You see your
Yeah.
hand is raised.
Yes, Ayana.
I also wanted to add to that by saying a lot of the time when I was younger, I've been bullied for like my race and other like how I like presented myself sometimes because I wasn't always confident, especially when I was younger, or I would be like, "Do you still want to be friends?" Like I'd be very anxious around people. And I've learned now to I'm still working on it, but I've learned now to just if someone is being rude and doesn't accept you for who they are, that is not a really like you want to be with people who want to fill your bucket, not empty it, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't know about the homework, but I also did. I always do that. Like even with, not from people from school, just people around, even adults. And it really breaks my heart that people aren't as kind. And I see that especially at my age, even adults, and it's hard. And but I don't let that stop me, and I try to say hello. And then mostly they do reciprocate, or sometimes they give me rude looks. But you never know how I can make someone else's day. So I always try to make their life, like make their day go a little better with a little sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't let it change. Don't let it change you. You know, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So do you find now that you're like the ripe old age of what, Ayana, 16 now?
I'm almost 16 now, July
Yeah.
20th.
That's what I thought. So at the ripe old age of 16, do you see how your confidence building over the last 4 or 5 years has made you less apologetic about who you are?
Yeah, it is. It has. And I'm I I couldn't have done it without like guidance, but I'm also proud of myself for like standing up and getting up off the floor and believing in myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's right. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Have you ever heard that? Yeah. So you can have all the best help coming at you, but if you're not willing to do the work,
It's not going to mean anything.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's wonderful. You have a very bright future ahead of you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Who else can talk a little bit about the homework, about saying hi and smiling and what you get back from people, and does it make you feel good? How does it affect your confidence?
About the assignment, I did it, but only to one person. The person greeted me back. It made me feel like it made me feel that I'm worth it. It made me feel good. So what we taught last week, how it had impact on me. It helped me. It helped me. I started having good posture, like how I walk, how I stand, how I sit. I started having good posture. It might have been difficult for me to get used to it, but it helped me with my good posture. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I couldn't really hear well because I think there's some papers, you know, scrunching around Ojo, but did you say you did do the homework with one person?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you talk a little bit about that?
Like I just I think I was in the city market then. Then I saw the person, then I greeted them. I told them hi, and person greeted me and showed me like he cared, and I liked it.
Did they say hi back to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, so we're 2 for 2 so far. I like that, and so it made you feel good.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, again, I promise you guys that someday, somewhere, you're going to be at a coffee shop or somewhere and you're going to say hi to somebody and smile and make eye contact, and it's going to lead to something. I promise you. I give you my word. So it's a great thing to get comfortable with. Who else can talk about the homework or the class last Saturday? You know, we learned about entering a room with real presence and sitting with good posture, standing, walking, you know, in you know, modeling, because that does a lot to lead us to being more confident.
Hi, I would like to talk about the homework. So, as I have mentioned earlier, that I was traveling from Vancouver to St. John. So, in the airport, I approached 2, 3 people, And I looked into them and then I smiled at them and I said, hello. One of them was, everyone was nice, I must say, but one of them was elderly people. And then that was his very first time doing self-check-in. So just because I said hi and with a smile, he was comfortable asking for help. So that was a really good thing. And he was like, hey, thank you so much for being kind and being helpful. Second of all, when I got into the plane, there was a lady with a kid that was, I think he was 5 months old, and that lady was like a little bit stressed because this is his very first time flying. So first of all, she apologized that, hey, my baby might be crying, so please be patient with me. And then, I started playing with the baby, and then I comforted her that it's totally fine. Overall, my experience was really good, and I didn't know about that 3 meter and 5 meter rules before, but that gave me really confidence that, hey, that is appropriate and I'm doing the right thing. So, and those people, all of them were really nice and being grateful, and they appreciated my gesture.
Yeah. So, Jabita, is this something that you would maybe not have done before?
To be honest, if it's more than like 5 meter, maybe I wouldn't approach. Maybe I will make eye contact. I always make eye contact, but I wouldn't necessarily say hi. I'd just smile and then I'll just go away. But when I got to know about the rule, the etiquette you have taught us, that really gave me confidence that, hey, this is the right thing to do. And I really wanted to improve my etiquettes, especially body language and every other part. So yeah, that really helped.
Good, good. That's good to hear.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else wants to chime in and talk about the last 2 weeks? Posture, presence, walking, modeling, making eye contact, talking to strangers.
I did the homework and I complimented 3 people, but one of the comments really affected me because one person that I complimented said that thank you so much for that compliment because his grandpa was really sick in the hospital. So he said I really made his day.
Wow. Can I ask what you said to somebody?
I said you look great and you should have an amazing day.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You, yeah. Something so simple can really
Yeah.
make somebody's day.
Yeah.
It's making every single one of us here happy to hear that story. Imagine how it made that person feel. Yeah. No, kindness is a currency that not everybody's using anymore. Yeah. That's amazing. Was that Iremo?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. If I mispronounced anybody's name, I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. Iremo, that was wonderful. So I hope you'll keep that up.
Yeah, I will.
Good. And I remember I was taught a long, long time ago, give a compliment. If it's genuine, if you really mean it, it's never going to come across as dorky or quirky or weird. If you really mean it, say it. And generally, people will accept a compliment that they know is genuine. And typically, because it's body language, people know if you're being genuine. And so that can be something that really impacts people when you say something to a stranger and you're genuine about it.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting do any of you find this interesting that what we're talking about is really so basic? It's not like I'm on here teaching you how to split an atom. This is manners, courtesy, etiquette. Yet, not too many people these days are doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much of this, let me ask you this, how much of this is different in your culture, where you come from or your parents come from? Because that's an interesting thing to talk about, is how different is this, what I'm teaching you to do, from what you learned in your original community, I'll say. Who wants to talk about that?
Mabis, can you repeat what you said?
Sorry?
Mabis, can you repeat what you said?
I'm really sorry. I didn't understand. Say again.
Mabis, can you repeat what you said?
Oh, will I repeat what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure, yes. So the stuff that we've been learning over the last couple of weeks, is there anything in there that's different than what you learned in your culture or your country? Is it different than that?
Not really.
Not really. Like you were taught to smile and say hello and make eye contact.
I wasn't taught to make eye contact or say
Okay.
hello or hi, because there they greet like good morning. So we don't really say hello or hi. And there it's like if you don't look at their eyes while talking to them there, it is like respect in that place. So that like when you're talking to elders, they will not like you to look at them straight eye. They will like you to like bow your head or something. So they didn't really teach me that.
Yeah, yeah. So it is a little bit of work then, isn't it, to make eye contact?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. So it is important to at least see or acknowledge that there may be ways of doing things in Canada that you were just not accustomed to doing. Your parents did things differently, the country did things differently, your community did things differently. And so, and so you have to learn what are some of the accepted methods of communicating in Canada. Who else wants to comment on the cultural piece? How it might be different, what we talked about versus how you were raised?
Yeah, I'm meant to talk about like the different ways, like about how we're raised due to our culture. Uh, for me, I was taught that we should respect our elders. That's like one of the basic stuff. And I was taught to always give everybody a chance to like talk, like every single time everybody's talking. I give everybody a chance to talk. Listen properly, show them that like you're listening to what they're saying, not just like ignoring them, because it's actually a sign of disrespect. Like listen to what either your elders, your friends, your parents, listen to what they're saying. And yeah, yeah, that's for me.
Yeah.
I was basically taught to be very respectful and also to stand my ground. And I also, for greeting, I say good morning. So sometimes I don't say hello. I will, because I say good morning and then the other person responds, oh hello. So it's kind of like off.
Yeah. Yeah, good morning is fine if that's what you're used to saying. Good morning or hello. We say good morning too. Can anybody else speak to the cultural piece and how you were taught? And that's not to say it's wrong. Nobody's right. It just comes down to where you're living or where you're meeting people or where you're working. None is more right than another. It's just you're here and this is kind of how people do things.
How I was raised in my culture when I was growing up, my mom and dad always taught me to never ever talk back to your elders. If like if you're having an argument or like a disagreement and it's an elder, never talk back. Just agree with what they're saying because they know best.
Yeah. Yeah, respecting your elders is I would say universally agreed upon, hopefully. Yeah, that's good. Anybody else want to talk about the last 2 weeks, what you've learned, how your confidence is shining through already? Maybe something that you did that you don't think you would have done before 2 weeks ago? You know, confidence is really funny. It's one of those things that the more you do things that you're not used to doing, the more that you get uncomfortable. That's when confidence grows. It's really hard to gain confidence in your life if you don't push the limits. You know, it's when you're scared or doubtful or afraid, that's when you push through a barrier and you gain more confidence. And confidence, I was just thinking about this today, actually. Confidence is not just like self-confidence in moving about in the world and with other people. Confidence is across every area of your life. There is financial confidence, right? Am I being prudent with my money? Am I planning, my future so that someday I can retire or buy a home? So there's all different kinds of confidences. Some you're going to be better at and have more organic confidence, and other things you're not going to have any confidence at all. So there could be, like I said, financial confidence. There could be educational confidence, right? Am I going to be able to go to university? Am I smart enough to go to university? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Am I capable? Can I live on my own? So so that's a kind of confidence. Then there is the confidence of well-being, right? Am I confident that I'm building a healthy body? Am I moving enough? Am I taking care of my positive mental health? So confidence comes in all of those areas of our life. And every time you come up against something in one of those areas, school, well-being, your own person, speaking up for yourself, finances. If you're really scared, you've got to push through those barriers, climb that wall, figure out a way to overcome the thing that you're scared of. Because once you're on the other side, they're going to go, did I really do that? And then you can go on to the next biggest thing. That's how confidence works. And I see so many people stop short of what they're really capable of doing in some of those areas of their life, because when it gets scary, they stop, they pull back. They think that they should know more than they actually, they think that they should know more before they pursue it. And so the fear of the unknown keeps them back. But that's when you want to hit the gas pedal and go. And you will come out of it more confident. Does that make sense? And I'm almost 60 and I just really started to dissect and think about that today. I was like, confidence isn't just about walking in front of people or speaking publicly. Confidence is all these other areas of your life. Relationships, school, taking care of yourself, money, right? They all have elements of confidence. Anything really, really good you do in your life, real success, the foundation for it all is confidence. It's believing in yourself so that you can take the step even when you don't know what's going to happen next. But you believe enough in yourself that you know you can handle the next step. See that? That's what confidence is. It's that little space between taking the step and what's over here. All right? Confidence lives right in there. The belief in yourself. Yeah. So we have a few minutes left. Does anybody want to say anything about that? We'll call it global confidence, global self-confidence. No? Well, Christine, do you want to jump in at this point and say anything? We've got, what are we at? The 10-minute mark, I think. Yeah.
I think for me, it's just it's awesome to hear everyone on this call sharing their experiences just as a result of, you know, taking it upon themselves to follow through with the assignments. Like you said, you can pull the horse to the water, but there's nothing you can do if you choose not to drink. It's one thing to attend classes, one thing to choose not to participate. And one thing I've learned in the course of my leadership journey is you can't become a leader just by sitting in the room. You become a leader by actively participating, getting involved, and just putting one step in front of the other, walking daily in confidence, because that's the only way you can begin to. So when you start feeling like one, acting like one, before long, you truly become one, you know? And that's something I just wanted to share with everyone. So like, even for me, I'm surprised to see that for those who didn't even attend the classes, they're even giving their feedback. They're participating like Jobida and Ayana and Shilomide, you know? It's good to see that even though they were not, but they were eager to be a part of the process because they see the value in that. And then they showed up today and they are sharing again the journey and experience. I think, I don't know what else to say to you ladies and guys, but I just want to say we're truly very proud that you've decided to make this investment in yourself. And I just want to encourage you to keep doing that. Every time you get homework, go above and beyond, do it. This is not like one of those courses. It's not a university course where you're given certificates, degrees, you know. The best certificate you can get is the investment you make in yourself and how far you're able to follow through with that, you know, as one of those self-paced courses. So if you already signed up for this, you made a commitment, all I can say is follow through to the end, even when it seems like it doesn't make sense, because Lorraine is working like every Wednesday, she's coming in and doing this, but for the next 3 or 4 weeks, you'll see different facilitators talking on different things. I just want to encourage you to, everything you learned from this course, from Lorraine, from myself, put it through the other courses because they're all related. You'll be talking about mental health, you'll be talking about exploring yourself to artistic expressions, you'll be talking about your cultural identity. In all of these things, confidence, self-identity, you know, self-esteem are just like major theme through them all. Ayana mentioned something about bullying. This is that's one of the reasons this course was created. A lot of high school, even university students or post-secondary school students often get bullied even by their lecturers. And sometimes they don't know how to respond respectfully because of the cultural differences. So when I listen to some of you saying like, oh, always respect your elders, what if that elder is wrong? What if that senior is wrong? How do you speak up for yourself and speak up for others who are also being victimized? there are always right channels to kind of like put through your grievances in a very respectful way and still maintain your ground and still be very polite and respectful. So when you don't understand, always ask questions and reach out. And so, like you can always reach out to Lorraine, you can always reach out to me at any point in time. One of the things I really hate in my life is just like, I hate to see people being bullied, and you can't always fight for them. My kids were bullied in school. I was bullied when I was growing up, So I hated that, but I always told myself, if I ever get a chance to do this, I will do things differently. But I can't reach out to all the kids in the world and say, oh, here's what you do. But every chance I get through the programs that I lead, even at Fruit Inc., when we created the program, YALI, Young Ambassadors Leadership Initiative as well, we put that element as well, that you need to be able to know who you are, to be able to defend yourself and own your voice, own your space, kind of a thing, because that's one way that bullies can avoid you, because like, oh, well, you can't mess around with so and so. You don't have to be violent, really. There are better ways of resolving conflicts. Once you understand who you are, you understand the limits of your rights, and you understand your responsibilities, it's a lot easier to now act in very responsible and respectful ways, not just for yourself, but for the people you serve or the community you represent. So I think that's all I just wanted to add to it. So keep learning and keep growing every day.
That's such a good point, Christine, and that's a soft spot for me too. The bullying in school, both by the other students as well as from the teachers, the adults, and yeah, like being respectful to elders or people in those positions, teachers, clergy, medical professionals. It's a yes, but. It's a yes, but they're just people too. And what you do have the right to do, regardless of your age, is you have the right to advocate for yourself. When you're not being treated right, when something's been done or said and you don't feel good about it, you have the right to advocate for your well-being. And that doesn't matter how old you are. And I hope everybody hears that. Like, regardless of your age, you have the right to be treated respectfully. That's not a one-way street. And you should advocate for yourself. Speak up and say something. Do we have time for a really quick story?
We have about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my youngest daughter went to St. FX University, but before that, she went to a high school in St. John, and she had a best friend, and they were inseparable. And there was a teacher who used to, in my opinion, in a way, bully them. He used to say, you two got to separate. You can't go through life together. There's going to be a point where you're not going to be able to be together. You can't be together all the time. La, 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 la. So there was that. There was also, my daughter Rayanne had aspirations to go to university, but she struggled in school. She struggled. And this person would say, you're not going to make it. You're not going to be able to go, and really just did not instill any hope in her at all. Well, she worked her buns off, and she graduated with high honors, and she got a scholarship, and she went to St. FX, and she graduated, and she was highly involved. She was the senator. She was the women in leadership first year and third year. She did everything you could do to have a robust university career. Now she has an awesome job, a leadership position. And there was a big function. And so she chipped in to help serve drinks. And so somebody stepped up to the bar, and she took his order, and she gave it to him with her X ring facing out. It was that teacher. And he looked at the ring and he looked up and he said, "Oh, I see you turned out just like me." And she said, "Not even close." And she said, "Oh, by the way, if you'd like to say hi to Casey, she has one too, and she's down at the end of the bar. I got her a job here." So that's my story of having the courage to advocate for yourself. That person did nothing to uplift my daughter and inspire her. He tried to tear her down. He told her all the reasons she wasn't going to make it. And she was respectful, but she got her point across some 5 years later. Yeah. So that's my story.
That's
You do
quite
have
an inspiring one. Thanks for sharing. I'm glad we had time to share that because again, it's not just enough to just be theoretical about life issues.
Yes.
Examples that come close home are very good ways to really inspire others. So thank you for sharing that.
And before we go, I just want to say all of, again, Jobita coming on, not having been here, in the in-person classes, you were up to speed, you did your homework, you contributed. Again, you guys as a whole, this group is so conversational and just, really participating actively. And I appreciate that. That makes me want to do this. It makes me want to come and do this. So thank you.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, and Lorraine, thank you once again for helping us execute another successful virtual session on Empowered Stride. And so this is where we draw the curtains for the night and say good night, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening.